right, just gonna be waiting for a couple people to pop in here. Not a very long one, so I'm just gonna wait a minute and then get right to it. So the downside to the live ones, but hey, at least we get to see everything. So just giving, yep, there we go. Awesome. Good to see you. Couple people popping in now. There we go. So just waiting for a few people to show up and then we'll get this going. It's not a super long one, but it is pretty important. So give enough time for people to be at the start here. I will take this opportunity to just bring it up again that I do really appreciate and give thanks to those who have supported me through this, the transition of our family moving and trying to get to a new place, and now with the mandates pushing people out of healthcare, which my wife was in, and now we've seen our employment now hacked. It's been such a blessing from God, and I do appreciate those of you who, ever since my first channel got hacked down, and it was a hit, right? Like 8,000 subs, that was a big deal. We were doing some really good work there, and for it to be sliced down, and a bunch of you guys followed along and kept up with me now, and I just wanted to say I really do appreciate you people for spending this time going through this weird this whole exercise that this whole channel was based on was really such an experiment to see where and why it started to where and what it's become. It's been quite the adventure. So I know it's blessed a lot of people. It's blessed my wife and myself. And I want to thank those that have come along and stuck along through this whole journey because I know it's blessed you as well. So, anyway, enough of that. Let's get to it and talk about the emergency powers. The province of Saskatchewan, as of September 13th, 2021, the clerk of the Executive Council. By order of the Lieutenant Governor in Council, dated September 13th, a declaration of emergency has been made in the province of Saskatchewan. The powers of the minister in an emergency. Declaration 18.1. During the emergency period, the minister may acquire or utilize any real or personal property that the minister considers necessary. He may take control or prohibit travel to or from any area of Saskatchewan, the distribution of essential supplies, cause the evacuation, of persons and the removal of persons or livestock and personal property from any area of Saskatchewan, authorize the entry into any building, any or on any land without warrant by any person in the course of implementing an emergency plan, cause the demolition or the removal of trees, structures, or crops, procure or fix prices for food, clothing, fuel, equipment, medical supplies, and other essential supplies, the use of any property, services, or resources. They may procure or fix the prices. And that, like it says here at the bottom, or do all acts and take all proceedings that are reasonably necessary to meet the emergency. So do anything that you need to. And what are the orders given to the people? All persons are required to comply with any orders made by the Minister of Health, which is they must, go and get some vitamins. All persons are required to comply with any orders issued by the Office of the Chief Medical Health Officer. Again, more vitamins. And all persons are required to comply with any direction issued by the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency. And this is according to the Honorable Scott Moe.
Saskatchewan. For the past several months, you have heard me repeat a very simple message over and over. Get vaccinated. And the vast majority of Saskatchewan people have done their part. Unfortunately, today we are faced with a fourth wave, resulting in increased case numbers and a significant capacity pressure in our healthcare system, which is close to exceeding what we have faced before. But unlike previous waves, this wave of the pandemic is being driven almost entirely by one group that consists of about 20 to 30% of our population, those that have made the choice to remain unvaccinated. New cases are overwhelmingly in unvaccinated people. Hospitalizations are overwhelmingly unvaccinated people. The evidence from the data that we have seen is quite clear. As a province and as a government, we have been very patient, possibly too patient. The time for patience is now over. The choice to not get vaccinated is not just affecting you, it is now seriously impacting those who did do the right thing. And it is now seriously impacting those who cannot get vaccinated, our children. And it is prolonging the pandemic for everyone. The choice to not get vaccinated is creating consequences for others, and I would say very soon it is going to create consequences for those who have made the decision to remain unvaccinated. Later today, along with Dr. Shahab, I will be announcing further measures targeted at reducing the pressure on our healthcare system, targeted at increasing our vaccination rates, and making it less comfortable to remain unvaccinated in Saskatchewan. Effective September the 17th, we will be introducing an interim mandatory masking order. It will be applicable in all public indoor spaces. The order is targeted to be lifted in late October, at which time a full proof of vaccination will be, or negative test policy, will have been implemented for about 3 to 4 weeks. The proof of vaccination or negative test policy will come into effect October the 1st, and it will apply to several businesses, establishments, and event venues, while excluding several services that are necessary for every citizen in the province to access. We'll be releasing a full list later today. We'll also be announcing that all employees of the Government of Saskatchewan ministries, crowns, and agencies will be required to get vaccinated. With proof of full vaccination required by October the 1st, employees will be required to provide consistent proof of negative test if they are unable to provide their proof of vaccination. These aren't measures that we have wanted to implement, and as a government, we have been patient in providing the opportunity and the access to get vaccinated. But that patience has now come to an end. The vast majority of Saskatchewan people have done the right thing, and they are growing tired of the reckless decision of the unvaccinated that is now driving our fourth wave. And Saskatchewan won't wait for you as we continue to move forward.
The time for patience is over. The message by Scott Moe, the Premier of Saskatchewan. You know, the argument doesn't make any sense. Like, people's brains don't function. How can the fourth wave be driven by 30%? That makes no sense. If they're swamped and burdened in the hospitals because of the 30%, and I've seen quotes as deep as, it's been worse than all the other ones. How's that possible if it's down to 30%? The argument doesn't even make sense. The logic is gone. The reality is no longer necessary. The programming is winning, or should I say, has won. They're confident enough or scared enough to move on to the next stage. It's going to be interesting. Are there enough people who say no, or is there just enough people to be made an example of? I have no idea. They've made it very clear that they don't want us to know how many people have different ideas about what's going on. But it doesn't matter anymore because, as you can see, they're not waiting. They've made the decision. The fourth quarter, like I've been saying, where all the action is going to start, well, it's starting. Fourth quarter, right on schedule. They've got a plan and they're sticking to it. So it's not about this, that, or the other. This is getting real, folks. Again, I keep laboring it. We're in a very bad situation. If you don't know who Jesus is, that is your number one priority, because we are at a much more deadly threat than long-term cancer here. So let's get our heads on straight. Let's start seeing things for what they truly are. And let's take a couple good steps forward. Once we realize who we are and where we're coming from, and that hopefully in the next couple little bits here, in the next few videos, we're going to take a look at why in the next big video is going to be the one of the family lines that have been driving this whole thing and where we came from, so that we can start answering what's going on now and where this is heading to, so that we can make the big decisions. And it's going to be biblically based. And a lot of you guys from the gematria world that were with me right from the beginning might not like it, but it's what you need to hear. And even if you're not into it, you should at least listen to it so you can understand a little bit more about the Bible, and so that you can understand what these guys are doing in accordance to what the scriptures are actually talking about. So that's going to be a little bit where we're heading, because we need to know this. We need to understand why Alice Bailey's at war with it. We need to know why the UN is at war with us. We need to know why the whole world is being shut down, so that these people can go underground, wipe us all out, and come back and reboot the system. We need to know what's going on, where it came from, why we're, what the state we're in now, and where this is going. And the only way we're going to do that is to deal with truth. And whether you want to hear it or not, the whole world is revolving around the Bible. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. So it's best to start learning. It's best to get on your knees and understand that this is the time period in which probably is going to be the most, this is the last of the good times. Let's just say it like that. Wherever you are, I hope this finds you well. God bless.